night in a long time. It would be interesting to see who is up late at night in America, and I guess I would run into some European and Australian people, I guess, in the middle of the day when it's normal. But since I'm on the west coast of California, um, it's probably like, you know, beginning or middle of the night for most people in America. Well, I guess maybe it's not midnight here. Maybe it's like 11:15. But if anybody comes into the chat, please leave something in the chat there so I can see that you're here and that you can hear me. All right, it looks like I got my first victim of the night is in this room, man. I hope it's not a lurker. I hope it's one of my buddies. Please put something in the chat box so I could see who it is. It's late night, and I'm not used to being on late at night. However, I am usually up at this time. And I think what it is like the last, especially with having all that dental work done and just, you know, getting out of the hospital about a month or something ago, um, and getting my health back on track and all that stuff. My sleep schedule just isn't good, and I'm up all night doing research, trying to stay ahead of the truth for the United States, so that way when I give my show in the morning, if people like turn on my show in the morning first, they can kind of get a head start on the night, And so usually I'm doing research at this time, but I always feel bad because I see that I only get usually about, I don't know, 10 or 12 people in the chat or something like that during a live show, and I know I get about 60 views or something like that total. So I know that most of the subscribers can either can't get to the show right away, or they live in another time zone or something like that. And so I want to give an opportunity for everybody to catch it live. And I know that this is probably the most fun crowd because I know that for the people that I have overseas and the people that are usually up at this hour of the night, um, in the States, usually Tony's crew's up at this time of night. And I really was going to go on his panel earlier today, and the only reason I decided not to is because I owed you guys a show from today. Because what's been happening is I've been staying up. I'm trying to get past Darwin's show and get past um, Nathan's show in order to go live, and so that way that people don't have to choose, what they want to watch. So I try to come in after that, but I guess that um, I probably should just go live, like probably a tail end of Arwen's show or whatever, and just go live for 20 minutes, and then if or 45 minutes or however long I've been doing it, and if people want to watch something else, then that's on them. And they can just catch me later. It's not like this is like any kind of a big, you know, any kind of a big show where you're going to get a bunch of revelation here. I just like view this as like a safe place to go if you're a truther and you're a flat earther and you want to talk about all the different, the transpocalypse. You want to talk about the lies in the media. You want to talk about that health stuff, right? Um, and not only that, not only be able to talk about those things, right? But also, this is a place for Christians too, right? For people that follow Jesus Christ, right? And so, if you're going to be a truther, why not follow it all the way out to its logical ending point? Like if you're going to be an outcast, right? And not be able to discuss things with people outside of our little truth group, right? Um, where every time we bring up stuff like flat Earth, or every time we bring up stuff like look at the the gender bending in Hollywood, or um, the jab or whatever they're calling it now, the sting, the shot, there's a lot of people want to talk about that, right? When you go out there in the public, people don't want to talk about that stuff, and so we talk about it with each other. But in reality, if you're going to be an outcast anyway, right? Why not follow the truth, right? If you're already open-minded, right? Why not use your research and study skills to study the Bible? Why not use uh, your ability to research and discern what's true, right? Oh, okay, right on. Hey, oh, so 90 minutes, 2 hours. Okay, yeah, that's cool, man. I'm gonna be up pretty much all night, man. I just figured um, that I would go ahead and put out like a 30 or 40-minute show or something like that, just so where people can catch it in the morning or whatever. Because I'm not getting a lot of live people right now anyway. But put out 30 minutes of some thoughts or whatever. Yeah. That's cool. Talk to you there. That's Rasta Hat. And so like I'll be having like a lot of conversations with people throughout the night, and different kinds of people with different beliefs and all that, right? And try to find stuff that okay, that's great. And so like trying to find things that like would appeal to truthers, right? Like what's new, right? Because we go to all these same truther channels, right? We all know pretty much the same stuff, but like what's new as far as putting the whole thing together? I mean, what are we doing? I mean, if we're talking about lasers over a body of water, or if we're talking about the nature of the earth, or if we're talking about the transgender stuff in Hollywood, or if we're talking about the jab, or we're talking about lives in the media, like if we're really talking about all that stuff, then what are we talking about? Like that's that's what this channel is about, right? Is what's the word? We live in a story, right? We don't live on anything. We don't live on anything you could really measure. I mean, maybe you can. I don't know. If we had enough money, we probably could measure it, I guess, That's never going to happen for regular people. Um, Obviously, the people that are in charge are sold out to the people that do know, right? And so there's a section of people that know what's going on, and a section of people who don't. Now, if you believe that there's sacred knowledge and hidden secret information to know, right? Well, then this is it. The the Earth is flat. God is real. There's no little bugs that make you sick, or whatever, And of course, there's bacteria, right? That's obviously real. You could see it, right? But like, just and I'm not giving advice to anybody, right? But like anything that sounds like the boogeyman, or something to fear, or some invisible enemy, or those people over there, or anything where they could say, hey, fear this, fear that, or whatever. Maybe they say God's not real. There's no heaven for you. You're insignificant. All this stuff, right? It all goes away if you just can accept the fact that we've been lied to our whole lives. And in my studies, all the way out to as far as I could take it, right? The Bible is true and God is real, right? It could be worse than that. Trust me on that, Um, it could be that none of it's true, and we're in a real big mess, and there is no certainty as to where we're going after we die. Not just that we die, but that we could go someplace worse, And so I think we're pretty darn fortunate to have people that have all this time to study, all this time to really look into all these issues, into the flat Earth, as crazy as it sounds, right? Into the uh, medical stuff, as crazy as that sounds to be against that, right? Or or into any kind of fake science or cosmology or lies on the news, right? I mean, we should be thanking God that there's people that have the time to research every single one of these things, right? And to know that at the end of it all, right? The Bible is true and God is real and that heaven is a possibility for us, right? I mean, just that alone. I mean, isn't there any kind of relief out there for people? I mean, look, I know it's hard to accept that we've been lied to. I know it's hard to accept that, uh, your brother-in-law might know more than an astrophysicist. That might be hard to accept, right? But that's the truth. That's what we're looking at. We're looking at your crazy Uncle Tom that hangs out in the shed all the time, right? Was right all along. And hey, look, if that sounds goofy, man, look, listen, it sounds funny to me too. I don't want to be that guy, you know? I don't want to be the crazy guy of the family that believes in all kinds of stuff, right? That's against the mainstream. Of course not. I want to fit in like everybody else. I mean, I mean, I have like maybe a slightly above average intelligence where I could probably uh, you know, talk to people and tell people what they want to hear. Hey Michelle, how you doing? Let me give you a blue wrench there. I'm glad that you're here. I was talking to myself there for a second, but I wish I could drop a link, but um, I don't know how to do that when I'm just going straight. You know, yeah, that's the thing. Is we need to have courage, right? Like we need to have the courage to grow up and accept this, right? Like our families that keep rejecting what we know and what we're saying, right? Um, is just it's getting to the point, right, where oh, I'm glad that you're doing great. Oh no, you're saying you're saying that I'm doing great. I thought you were getting your brother closer to Christ, but like that. But isn't this the situation that we're in, Michelle? Right? Is that like, yeah, okay, so your weird Uncle Tom, right? That believes in all these different conspiracies just happened to be right all along, right? I mean, because someone out there discovered that something was just funny and not right, spent all their time researching these things, right? And is trying to share these things with their loved ones and family and friends, right? And trust me, uh, there could be worse things. I mean, look, what if I had to tell you, Michelle, hey, you know what? I studied all this stuff and I came out to the logical conclusion that Allah was the real God and that we have to learn how to read the Quran, right? Now, that might not even be the worst thing ever, right? But let's say that I had to tell you that, right? I mean, that would be harder to take, don't you think? You know, than to have one of your loved ones tell you, "Hey, look, the Bible's true and Jesus is real and we get to go to heaven." I mean, I think we're picking nits if that's not what we want, in life, And it's like you've spent time, right? You have a job and a career and a life too, right? And you spend a lot of time researching these things on the internet. I've spent countless hours researching these things. I mean, just flat Earth alone was like 8 hours a day for 3 years. I mean, I could have got a PhD in that amount of time. I mean, to the point where I was a subject matter expert on cosmology, and debating people with a lot of education and making them look stupid, and that wasn't my goal, right? That wasn't my goal, but I have this hunger to learn things, right? When things don't seem right. And if it just happens to be against the mainstream, I want to know about it. I don't know why everyone doesn't have that hunger inside them to want to know, you know? What's the difference between what's true and what's not true? And to me it's sad, I mean, I don't want to live in a world like that, where um, where I couldn't accept the truth. And don't get me wrong about, I mean, look, I appreciate everyone's beliefs and I appreciate where everyone had to come from in life. It's not easy, right? But the truth is that the God of the Bible is true. Jesus is real, right? He's the truth. He died for our sins, and we get to go to heaven because we're in a grace period, because we can't follow the rules. I mean, if you could see how evil this world is, um, you know, even some of the people that you would consider the better people of this world are messed up. I mean, I'm messed up, right? And so, you know, I'm not saying that I would be horrified if I found out, say, Buddha was the way to go. I would follow suit. I would have to accept the truth and go that way, right? Yeah, I'm happy that it's the God that I know, that I grew up with, right? Sure, of course, and yeah, I'm glad that I understand it, a little better than I would another culture's religion or whatever. But just the idea that we live in a story, an unmeasurable story. We don't live. It's a beautiful thing to realize um, that I am God's idea, right? I am His thought. He thought of me and made me the way I am, right? And He wants to spend the rest of His life with me, which is all of eternity, right? Now imagine that. God knows you. He made every detail about you, and He wants to spend eternity with you. And the way you get that grace, right? And the way you get that to achieve, that's not even the word. The way you qualify to go to heaven, right? Is to just believe that He died for your sins, right? To me, that sounds like a pretty good deal, right? The God that created me wants to keep me around. He likes me, and He wants me to be part of His life, and part of His eternity. And I couldn't imagine, a better scenario than that. And here we are, like, trying to tell our moms and our brothers and our friends, right? Hey, the news is lying to you. There never was a sickness, and what they're giving you can't be anything good because it's not real, And, when you start talking like that, right, in a story, right, yeah, it's scary, right? Or when you try to tell someone you love and care about that knows that you wouldn't lie to them, right? That, hey, we're not on a big old flying spinning ball, why is that rejected, Where have we lost touch, right? When I'm sure before television and computers and screens constantly, right? That we lived like, I don't know, would we live on little homesteads or whatever where, you, yeah, and I guess I'm reconnected now, but yeah, it's, we used to trust our families, and we used to trust our moms and our dads in their opinion. We didn't have to go to Google to answer questions, and it's just sad. It's just sad that more people would rather believe Google than, their own loved one that's telling them what's going on. And see it, like, I'll never take it either, Michelle. And I'm grateful that my kids haven't, and I'm grateful that my brother hasn't taken it, which kind of surprised me. But it breaks my heart that my mom took this thing, And I get it. She lives with somebody that's in her 80s or whatever, and I get it that her heart was geared towards thinking of that other person. But it's a shame, right? Because people we love out there, right, that we're thinking of and not thinking of, right? People in our lives are being deceived out there. And it makes you wonder what we are and how important we are to the world, or what we mean to God, or what our mission is, right? But I'll tell you what, with this truther stuff, I never run out of energy to do it. And if that means, if that's what finding your calling is, then I guess then that's what I've done, you know. I know I'm not a teacher of the Bible. I don't feel inclined to do that, right? But I like talking about it, you know. I like discussing it. And so maybe that's just my job, is to just provide a safe little forum for us to talk, you know, and get along. And maybe there'll only be 10 or 12 of us in the morning, you know, or whatever, and or 40 people that watch this video, right? I'd rather have 40 tight people that get it, right, to have my back, than to have people opening up a very broad road to accept more people, right, that probably don't have my back, you know. And thank you, Michelle, for praying. Um, I pray for you, of course, faithfully, absolutely. And so it's just, I just, I don't have really much else to say tonight. I just, short and sweet, I guess, you know, and especially I'm having connectivity problems. Certain things you talk about, and you start having connectivity problems with YouTube. But I'll say this is, I just wonder if there's a way we can just go to our loved ones, you know, even if we can just tell one person or even one stranger, you know, that they're not on a spinning ball, or that this the transgender agenda. Anyway, I'm being like totally kicked off of YouTube right now. Like I'm being not kicked off, but like um, my connectivity is going off and on. So I'll just say goodbye, and that I love you guys, and God bless you, and praise Jesus for his sacrifice and his grace. And if any of you need me, then have my number. You guys can text me. I should probably be up tonight. I am going to talk to Rasta later. So I'll see you guys later. And, just want to say goodnight.